So let's talk about the hidden costs of buying a home. And I'm not talking about any sort of shady bait and switch fees. Everything that we do on the mortgage side is pretty well regulated, but there are some costs that a lot of people don't account for when they're purchasing a home. A lot of the times people will, they'll come to me and they'll say, "Hey, I want to get pre-approved. I've got $30,000 to put down." I look at their bank account; they've got $30,000, right? What they don't account for is, when you move into a new house, typically you're going to purchase furniture. You're going to need to hire movers. There may be deposits required to set up a cable bill. You're going to have to hire, a lawn guy. If you're moving from a condo, there's you might have to purchase a lawnmower. There's all of these things that people get a little bit, excited about buying the house, which is great. And they completely tap themselves out where after they finish paying for their down payment, their closing costs, they've got $15 left in their bank account. So I always recommend, when you are buying a house, you leave yourself a little bit of a buffer because there are going to be things that you want to do to that property. You're going to want to furnish it, and you want to have some money left over for cushions. Not cushions also, right? Maybe you need some throw pillows, but you want to have a cushion in your bank account after that's all said and done for any of these things that you may not be thinking about in the moment. Now, there are a couple of fees that do not get accounted for when it comes to actually closing your loan. The first one that a lot of people don't think of is the survey fee. That's typically left off of a lot of title companies and closing attorneys' estimates because it's charged by a third party and it's not a tolerance fee, meaning that if they don't disclose it to you and they add it at a later date, nobody gets in trouble. They're totally within their rights to do that. So a lot of times I see estimates and there's no survey fee on there. Survey can range from $300 to, $3,000 depending on the property. Most stuff that you see in Palm Beach, Broward, Dade County is going to be like $450 is the most common thing that I see. The other thing that a lot of people don't account for is that when you purchase a home, your property taxes are based on the amount of property taxes at the time of closing. Generally, the home is going to get reassessed by the county based on your sale price, and your property taxes are going to go up. So, for example, you buy a house from somebody who's owned it for 20 years. They bought it in 2002, and they've got a property tax bill of $2,000 a month, $2,000 a year. Sorry. You buy that house for $500,000. There's a very good chance, it's almost certain your property taxes are going to at least double when it comes time to get reassessed, either that current year or the following year. So a lot of people they get jammed up because they're not expecting it. All of a sudden, boom, they get hit with this bill from their mortgage company that says, "Hey, your property taxes are due. We only accounted for $2,000. The bill is now $4,900, and you owe us $3,000. We can either increase your payment by $700 a month until you're caught up, or you can write us a check for $3,000 right now." So it's always something I always caution people: watch out for that. If you're buying a house that has like a suspiciously low tax bill, you want to be ready. Have the money available so that you don't get stuck with a surprise payment increase or have to write a check for money that you don't have.